Hey guys, welcome back to the Overcome series. Now, for most of you that would be well aware with the circumstances that the entire world is dealing with at the moment, still, in terms of this whole COVID-19 pandemic, especially nationally in terms of in the UK, since 2020 and carrying over into the early parts of 2021, we've had this ongoing issue with lockdown restrictions, in particular with competitions, so the actual shows going ahead, and obviously gyms. So the first issue was gyms. They were going into lockdown. We didn't have access to our gyms. The first one was for approximately 5 months, I think it was. And then we had a second lockdown where we didn't have access to a gym for a month. And then we had a third lockdown at the beginning of 2021 for like 2 or 3 months again. So as you can see from that, there's been a lot of discrepancy in terms of our ability as competitive athletes to get into a gym and have access to the equipment that we need, especially for a contest prep. And then equally, when we're looking at the competitions themselves, there are a lot of shows that were being cancelled entirely. There was a lot of shows that were constantly being postponed to a later date, and that was causing a lot of issues and frustration for many competitors. And I'm only speaking for the UK because I don't really know what was going on elsewhere in the world, but no doubt everybody else was having their same or relatively similar issues. But yeah, as you can tell from all of that, it's been an extremely frustrating and disappointing 12 months. For me in particular, because at the start of 2020, I had my heart set on getting back on stage. I wanted that to be a competitive season for the entire year, do like multiple shows, end up, with some good wins, hopefully, ideally, and then take another year off and then do the same thing again. Because my last showing was way back in 2017. I had my gyno operation in 2019, and then I decided to pull out for that year just to help with active recovery of the whole surgery, and then try and regain my strength and put some more size back on, because I lost a significant amount of size during that period as well. So I decided to commit to 2020 as my competitive season, but then the whole pandemic outbreak happened. So then that further delayed my competitive season. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, we're in a good spot in terms of the lockdown restrictions are easing. We have the gyms back open, and we've had them open now for approximately, I think, 4 weeks, so about a month thereabouts. And everything else is gradually reopening, and the whole lockdown restrictions and legislations are all easing as the weeks go on, which is all fantastic news. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can start regaining some sense of normality, and especially from a competitive side of things, we have our shows running. I know there's a few shows that are already going ahead and have gone ahead, so this is all positive indications that we're getting back on track. So hopefully 2021, this will actually be my competitive season, and that's why I wanted to kind of preface this whole Overcome series with a recap. So I wanted to catch you guys up with where I'm at the moment, the shows that I'm aiming for this year, how many weeks I'm out from my first show, and then obviously everything else in terms of the training aspects, the nutrition aspects, cardio aspects, so on and so forth. In terms of video content, hopefully, if all goes accordingly to plan, we're going to get one video a week leading up to the obviously show day for this initial prep, and then from there onwards, we can probably get a fresh start. So we can start from however many weeks out from the next show, and then we can document all of that, and then potentially we may increase the frequency of the content. So it might go from 1 video a week to 2 videos a week, but it completely depends on how I'm feeling, the videographer's availability and their schedule. Now, in terms of how many weeks out I am and the shows that I'm doing for this year, first of all, the plan is a minimum of 3 shows this year. I have my heart set on the fitxpo Strong Classic, which is the one I'm aiming for initially, which is 7 weeks away. So I'm currently 7 weeks out from that show. Subsequent to that, it will be September the 11th, which is Bournemouth. Again, all of these shows are going to be the fitxpo Federation. And then the following weekend, which will be September the 19th, is in my back garden in Dartford. So obviously that's a given. And then subsequent to that one, we have the finals back in Liverpool, which is where the Strong Classic show is being held. And that is on the 25th of September, I think. So obviously my plans are to do at least 3 shows. If I get an invite or if I qualify for the finals on September the 25th, then I will do the 4th show as well. So it's going to be a busy year for me, but it's to compensate for the previous seasons that I've missed out on. So that's the whole show aspects of what shows I'm doing. As I said, I'm currently 7 weeks out. In terms of whether I'm on track at the moment, I'm feeling really confident with where things are at, from obviously a conditioning perspective. Body fat and conditioning is literally changing at the moment on a daily basis, and that's no exaggeration. Every single day I'm waking up, I do my cardio first thing in the morning, and then I do a couple rounds of poses, approximately 5-10 minutes, and then I may do like either a video or I stand in front of the mirror, and I can visually see changes every single day at the moment. So I feel confident, I feel like I'm on track. In terms of coaches, I am coaching myself this year. This is something that I've always wanted to do. And again, it's just to kind of like prove to myself, nobody else, that I have the capability, I'm competent, and I have the knowledge to coach myself going into this prep. So far, again, I'm really confident with how things are going. I'm really content with the decisions that I've made. A lot of people have said it's very psychotic for somebody to prep themselves. I can't really say anything because I've never experienced this before, but so far, again, touch wood, hopefully I haven't jinxed myself. Everything is going smoothly. I'm really happy with the decisions that I'm making. I'm not making any irrational decisions. I'm being very conservative and very resourceful with what tools and what variables I'm evoking and utilizing. So yeah, I'm just really happy with where things are going, and I'm really happy that ultimately I made this decision to prep myself. Regardless of what happens actually on show day, obviously my goal is always to come first, like any other competitor. But for me, the first show is predominantly to prove to myself that I can prep myself, I can coach myself to get into stage condition. That's the ultimate goal for the first show, and then from there, who knows what will happen. Now, in terms of the training aspects, so from when we last spoke, or the last video that I'd done, I was training at my home gym, which was Oakley Fitness, and I had been a member of that gym, a loyal member of that gym for a decade, because it's their 10-year anniversary this year. However, unfortunately, and I have no like animosity against the owners of the gym or just the gym in general, it's a really good gym. But for me personally, I outgrew that gym. I needed to take myself to the next level in terms of finding a gym that was more pertainable to myself, my mentality, and that competitive nature. So finding a gym that has other competitive athletes in there, because I'm pretty sure I was the only competitive bodybuilder in my previous gym. Everybody else were just like, they were training recreationally, so they were just training for fun, or they were training for the weekend, or just training for overall health, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just needed that little extra push. I needed to be able to go into a gym where that atmosphere was, somebody was always trying to push for more, and then I could almost like, I could rub off of their energy. I could rub off of their their mentality and their work ethic, and that was going to help push me to the next level, because I felt like I was stagnating a little bit in my previous home gym. So I'm now located at Crayford Weights and Fitness, which is obviously located in Crayford, if anybody knows the area. It's a phenomenal gym. The hospitality is incredible. The variations that they have in that gym as well is also phenomenal. They've got everything from Nautilus, Life Fitness, Primal Fitness, Hammer Strength, if I didn't say that, Cybex, Hoist. They've got everything. They've got absolutely everything, and they facilitate for their members and in particular for their athletes, because like I said, they have other athletes that go to their gym, even IFBB pros. So it's the perfect like comprehensive environment that I needed to transition to. So that's the place that I'm now training at. In terms of training split, so at the moment my training split is legs, upper, rest, lower, push and pull respectively. So I'm doing 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, and then 1 off again. The only reason behind that is just from a convenience perspective, in terms of like my work and other personal obligations that I have within the week. It just works out best for me to follow that split, and it seems to be going really well at the moment. So I'm progressing all of my lifts. Recently, I made a manipulation to my volume to reflect my recovery capabilities, as in the last 2 weeks, I made a adjustment to my energy expenditure, so my cardio, and also to my caloric intake, so my macronutrients. So with those 2 manipulations in the past 2 or 3 weeks thereabouts, obviously I've seen an increase in systemic fatigue, in particular training induced fatigue, and therefore I was seeing this kind of knock-on effect on my recovery capability. So the volume that I was doing when I made those manipulations, my recovery wasn't reflecting that volume, so I had to manipulate that. So I brought volume down slightly, and now my volume is reflecting my capability, like my recovery capability. So again, I'm back in a position where I'm seeing good progression and good overall performance across the board, which is essentially the main focus point, because all I'm trying to do really in these final 7 weeks is just preserve as much muscularity as I can. If I see any kind of growth along the way, then that's obviously a bonus, it's a win, but essentially the main focus is literally just preserving as much muscle tissue as I can. My mentality going into a prep is always push for strength, if like providing I have that capacity to do so, but if not, then I'm just looking at maintaining my previous numbers. So that's it in terms of the training aspects. In terms of nutrition, so as I mentioned, the recent manipulation that I made to my macros primarily came from training day. So I took out 50 grams of carbohydrates on my training day. Now, I should have written this down, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to try and remember off the top of my head. I'll tell you what, let me quickly put them up. So my current macronutrients are, for training day, it's 233 grams of carbohydrates, 38 grams of fats, and 267 grams of protein. Now, initially, when I made this manipulation, I'd done it on a Wednesday, and at the moment I'm doing 2 check-ins per week. I do 1 on a Wednesday and 1 on a Sunday. So I made the adjustments prematurely. So I made the adjustments before I actually took my progress pictures and looked over my progress pictures. I looked over those pictures, and I noticed some significant changes in conditioning. I saw more lines, more striations coming through. So then I re-evaluated my adjustments initially, and I thought, right, I tell you what, I don't really need to be as aggressive with my changes. So I kept with the 50 gram reduction on the training day from the carbohydrates, but then on the non-training day I put 20 grams back in. So I only brought my carbohydrates down by 30 grams on non-training day. So non-training day macronutrients are 133 grams of carbohydrates, 61 grams of fats, and 264 grams of protein. I'm still at the moment, at 7 weeks out, just over 2,000 calories on both training day and non-training day. That is one thing I'm really, really happy about. I'm really happy that I'm not down into like bikini diet levels at the moment. Then in terms of cardio, my setup and the current instructions that I'm following. So at the moment I'm doing 5 times 35 minutes of stationary bike in the morning, so in a fasted state, with a heart rate average of about 120 to 130 beats per minute, and then 4 times 15 minutes on the Stairmaster post-workout. So that one, my heart rate average is about 150 to 160 beats per minute. So that's the cardio setup. In comparison to my prep in 2017, it is considerably higher in terms of the energy expenditure and the amount of cardio I'm doing. However, my philosophy going into this prep was to do something a little bit different. So the last prep that I done, we were pushing calories more than the cardio side of things. Where this time round, I wanted to try and keep my calories as high as possible, but just obviously increase my energy expenditure, and that is exactly what I'm doing. So my last prep that I done in 2017, I was doing 5 times 35 minutes of Stairmaster fasted every single morning, and I kept that constant from start to finish, and I'd done nothing more, nothing less. There was a couple occasions, like 1 week or 2, where I'd done some HIIT, but that was only like 3 times 10 minutes. But other than that, I would say that was insignificant really. But other than that, I kept that constant. Whereas this time I'm doing the 5 times 35 minutes, which is the equivalent, but I'm doing the additional 4 times 15 minutes post-workout on the Stairmaster. And again, it seems like it's working at the moment. In reflection of body composition, in reflection of the changes that I'm seeing daily, it's working. So if it's working, I'm running with it. What I'll do, just to wrap up, I'll just overlay a couple of pictures of my most latest physique update for you guys. And then the last thing that I just wanted to mention to wrap up this video is what obviously is to come. So I said that I'm going to try and get 1 video out a week for you guys. That's going to mainly be like the training side of things. So 1 video a week of like what I'm doing in the gym. Obviously, I would try and provide as much value and content and education within those videos. But as always, if there's anything in particular you guys want me to discuss, you want me to go over in those videos, please let me know in the comments below. And that can be within the videos coming up within this prep series, and also in the future as well. Let me know some of your suggestions. What content do you want to see? What do you want me to discuss? What do you want me to talk about? Whatever it is, what do you want me to show you guys? So that's pretty much everything. That's the recap of the Overcome series, episode 3. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are new around here, obviously give this video a thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you all on that next video. Take care, guys.